You're listening to SM Media, the #1 place for exclusive content.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the Scottish Football Show Extra right here on SM Media. I'm Scott McPike. It's an absolute pleasure to be your host as always. It's a Benburb special this week. We're delighted to be joined by two guys of the Benburb team. We have the assistant manager Ian Gray. Ian, it's a pleasure to welcome you back on. Thanks very much for doing this.
No worries, Scott. Anytime.
Pleasure to have you on. We're also joined by one of the star players at Benburb, Lee Duncanson. Lee, it's a pleasure to welcome you on the show. Thanks very much for joining us.
Having me.
It's a pleasure. It's really looking forward to doing this. Obviously, it's been a wild season so far. We'll just talk a bit about the season. Sitting 11th in the league, 7 wins, 4 draws, 10 losses. Ian, we spoke to you at the start of the season, and the main prerogative was obviously to stay in the league, but it's went well so far. You must be kind of happy with how things have went.
I think we're reasonably happy. I think looking over some of the games, the way they've went, we probably should have more points on the board. I think our performances have probably dictated that we should have a few more points than we've actually got. A lot of really tight games that we've lost by the odd goal that we probably felt in the balance of play we deserved at least a draw or maybe a win, and just maybe a bit of bad finishing, a bit of bad luck, good goalkeeping, a couple of dodgy decisions with the refs, but I'm sure all teams get them over the course of a season. But it's going reasonably well. We're not getting carried away. I say to you at the start of the season, our main objective, as for I would say the vast majority of the teams, apart from 3 or 4 at the top, is to stay in this league and consolidate as a West of Scotland Premier League team, and that's still the objective just now.
Obviously that's been it's one of those wild seasons where kind of staying up is just the target. Lee, how have you found the season so far? What's been kind of your overall thoughts in the league position and kind of certain games? Anything big you want to talk about?
Like Ian said, I think we've been doing well overall. Like you said, results probably haven't been fair at times. Like you said, we could have maybe took draws, we maybe could have took wins when we haven't. But then when we have played well, I think we've been really good against some of the teams who you would deem being probably the better ones. Like winning not that long ago, I thought we were excellent in there. But again, Ian says a lot of people would think we'd probably just try and stay in the league. I think we're better than that. I do think we're better than that, and we should be looking to be better than that. But as you say, 7 teams are good in this year, so I would probably agree staying in the league would be a fair achievement.
Obviously, we'll get into game by game talking about the season so far. It started well, a 1-0 at home win over Rob Roy. Ian, was that the best way to start off the season?
Great way. I get 3 points on the board. First game's always every team's game, and again against a team who you would probably expect to be around about where we are in the table as well. You know, these are games against teams like Rob Roy, etc. Are the ones that will define our season, and that's no disrespect to Rob Roy. They'd probably say the same about us. So that's a great way to start and getting 3 points on the board. We've got a lot of new players and we've got a lot of young players. I think it's sort of proved to some of the guys that obviously they're capable of playing at this level, which we knew they were more than capable of playing at this level. But it just gave the guys a wee bit of confidence right at the start of the season.
Yeah, Lee, what was your thoughts in the first win over Rob Roy? Was that a good way to kick off the new season?
Yeah, definitely. It was vital as well. I think we spoke about it even on that day that a win on the opening day would be massive. And like Ian said, Rob Roy, who you would probably deem to be round about us in the league. So definitely a big win, that one to start with. I don't think it was the best game to be involved in off the back of my memory. It wasn't great. I don't think there was a massive amount of quality and probably wasn't great to watch either, but the fact that we won that early in the season in the first game was a good start for us, I think.
Yeah, obviously, and it carried on well. A 0-0 away draw with Troon. Ian, was that a game where maybe on a different day you maybe picked up a win?
I think I felt we should have won that game. Again, there was, as in the vast majority of the games, there was really nothing much between the teams. But I think we had the better of the chances, and if I can remember rightly, a few minutes before the end, I think we got denied a Stonewall penalty for a handball, which one of these ones where the ref looked as if he was about to give it and then sort of changed his mind. I think at the time, again, Troon will be one of the other teams that will be down and about us as well. And a away point in this league is not a bad point. But again, on the reflection of play, I think we probably should have maybe sneaked a win there. But I don't think we were particularly disappointed with the draw. It was one of those games where there was nothing much in it. As I said, like the vast majority of the games in the league, it was a really tight affair, not a lot of chances. I think we had one, if I can recall, later on where the boy put the ball in the net and it was quite a close offside call. They'll probably argue he was on, we argued he was off, so it could have went either way, and then we had the penalty where you're hoping for a wee rub of the green, which we never quite got. But at that point, we certainly weren't overly disappointed, certainly, especially with the way the boys had performed as well. Because any venue in Ayrshire's hard to go to.
Aye, absolutely, yeah. And obviously, you build on that pretty well with a 0-0 draw to go and take 3 points off Kilburnie at Benburb. That must have been a massive win as well, obviously coming off a good start. Leave 2 wins and a draw after 3 games. You can't argue with that, can you?
Oh, you cannot. I think in the Kilburnie game, I know it was a last-minute winner, which is brilliant. I think it was a header at the back post, and it was just great. I mean, I think that game with Bob battling, it was eachy-peachy at times. I think they started to come into it the second half as well. If I can recall, they were pretty decent. But then, a last-minute winner as well, and then you've got 7 points in 3 games, so you're chuffed with that, especially at that stage of the season.
I think that was the game where the boy Scullion, we gave away a needless free kick at the edge of the box, and you just know with the quality he's got that 9 times out of 10 he's going to put it in the top corner, and he did, and that brought it back to 2 each, and then Lewis Lovell scored a great header at the back post in the last minute, and no better feeling to win a game when you score the last minute winner. Again against a club who are going to be around about us on the table.
Yeah, and then obviously going into the Blantyre game, Lee, what happened that day? 3-2 defeat. Was it one of those games where you could maybe say on a different day it could have went either way? Was it a disappointment to lose that game?
Yeah, definitely, it was a disappointment. We were pretty good the first half, if I remember. We were decent. We were on the front foot. We were creating chances. We moved the ball well. And then the second half, I just didn't think we were that great. I think their 2 strikers caused a bit of problems in the second half. They were decent. And in the first half, I think the boys scored a worldie, a free kick in the top corner. But again, the game of 2 halves, we thought again good in the first half. Second half, we probably weren't as great. We're getting decent chances, but it didn't really look like a massive threat in scoring. And again, the 2 strikers were pretty decent in that second half.
Mm-hmm. Ian, that Blantyre game, was it difficult to take that after such a good start to the season?
It was, but as Lee said, I think that's a game where we definitely didn't deserve to win that game. If we'd have took a point, possibly would have been a fair result, but we never deserved to play the game. The second half, for some reason, we just never performed. And as you said, their 2 strikers caused us a lot of bother on the day. And they were the most likely, I think, to get the victory that day. I don't think we can really have any complaints with not picking up anything there, which was a disappointment after such a good start. So.
And then obviously after that, you keep this home run going pretty well with a 3-2 win over Bonnet. And Lee, it was hard fought, but it was obviously good to get that result after the first loss of the season.
Yeah, definitely. I think the main focus was to get back to try and get points. Primarily winning, but again, just points. And I think we went about that pretty well that day. I think we played really well. I think the goals we scored were pretty good as well. So it was nice to get back to actually winning and getting good points from the board early in the doors of the season.
Ian, was that a big win, that Bonnet game?
It was, aye. And we were 3-0 up that day, if I can remember, and Bonnet and come back into it. So it became a wee bit tight at the end, although I think, again, under the balance of play, we should have been out of sight there, well out of sight. We got a few jittery moments at the end when they get a couple of goals back in the second half. But again, that's 3 massive points against a club that, again, you're expecting to be running about the same area of the table of you. These are games, especially at home, where we've got to be winning. And as you probably come into a few other games after this, there's a few disappointments.
Aye, but obviously before we get into the wee difficult run, a massive 3-0 away win at Glenafton. Lee, Glenafton's one of the hardest places to go to in the league, but that must have been what went right that day? It must have been a great win for you.
We just done everything that we set out to do really well. I remember, to be fair to him, Scott Jarvis was excellent that day. He played wide left. I think Lewis was maybe injured or suspended, and he played wide left, and he was excellent. From the first half, even in the second half, just went about our business really well. We managed the game. We moved it well at times. We were quite direct at times when we noticed it was on. And in the second half as well, I think it was Gospel's
first game.
Gospel's first game in loan, and he was good. He was pace and he was causing problems. But overall, to a man that day, I thought we were excellent.
Ian, what went right against Duncanson that day? Was that a big result for the coaching staff?
I think as Lee said, just everything. We never had a failure, and there's very few days you get that. And I think just for the start to finish, we totally dominated the game, and were well worth our win. And again, I think it gave the guys a bit of belief that you can go into Ayrshire, especially East Ayrshire, where you're coming up to the Talbots and the Glens, and get a result.
Yeah.
Because that was an absolutely brilliant performance. I was obviously speaking to a lot of the Glens guys after the game because I know them pretty well, and they had absolutely no complaints. It was a fair reflection of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but obviously we'll get into the wee run, the 3 defeats in a row against Rutherglen, Rossvale and Largs. Lee, was that a difficult run to take in the dressing room after such a good start?
It was. I mean, the fact we've picked up sort of no points for 3 games wasn't great. I remember especially as Rossvale. I mean, early doors, they were quite brave and tried to play in their own half, so maybe from by kicks and stuff. And we were pressing and getting chances, and we just weren't taking them. And then I think the boy scored a worldie in the first half. I think he's dribbled about 40 yards for a diag and chipped the goalie. And then in the second half as well, I mean, they're moving it, and we just weren't on it that day. I mean, if we took chances, especially in the first half of that game, we definitely could have won. And we were probably looking to win that one because, no disrespect to Rossvale, we're looking to beat those teams, especially those in about us. We're looking to definitely take points for them. But no, it was a hard run. It was a hard run.
Aye. Ian, would you go along with that, those 3 difficult games? What was the thoughts of those 3 games as a whole?
Yeah, I think that, as Lee said, the Rossvale game, they tried to play football up for the back, and we were catching them, and we created chance after chance after chance and just never took it. And then I think it was the boy Kindling scored a great goal right on half time. And then we came out in the second half, and to be honest, I don't think we were on it. And the game just disappointingly just kind of petered out. Glencairn, again, I thought we dominated the game, and it was disappointing to lose that. The last game down there, I don't really think we deserved it at the last game, to be honest. We had young goalie in who was only 17, because their goalie was missing that day. Young Kai is an excellent keeper, but very difficult, just to be pushed straight into the first team. And I think the goals we gave away, well, the first one especially, was never a penalty kick in a million years. Even all the Largs guys were saying that. That was right on the stroke of half time. And then the other 2, I think, were down to defensive mistakes by us, but we never performed particularly well that day. Don't think we can have any complaints about not picking up anything there, but certainly the Rossvale and Glencairn games, we should have got something at the games.
After that, it's the 2-2 draw with Bees, and then a massive 5-1 home win over Troon. Lee, they're 2 big results, especially the Troon one. That must have been a massive boost of confidence.
No, it was massive. I mean, from the Troon game, I think we started excellent right away. I mean, we've scored a couple of goals early doors. I think they're trying to play them, we're knitting it, and then contradictory to Rossvale, we're burying them early doors and just set the tone right away. Set it tone, and they were sort of backing off, and then we're playing and being direct. No, it did set us up really well. And Beath as well. Beath was a good result because in the first half, we don't think we were particularly great. We were more on the back foot. I think we had a decent chance. I think might have Scott Jarvis hit the post, but I don't think we're in the game massively, especially in the second half. We were under the cosh a wee bit, and then I think we got a penalty late on, which was massive, and then I think Flash scored. But no, definitely 4 big points there.
And would you go along with that, Ian? 4 massive points?
Oh, I did, especially the Troon one. The Troon one was another one of those performances where we were excellent. And then done at Bees as well, to go behind 2-1 and then, give up and show the character to get back. And fortunately, we got a penalty kick in the last couple of minutes, so it's Flash buried. So that was a decent point as well, because again, I know for my years down in Ayrshire, Bees is a hard place to go. They were 2 excellent results.
Definitely. Obviously, after that, the 3 defeats in a row again. This time it was Motherwell, Darvel and Hurlford. Lee, there are three teams that were probably in good, and they were in really good runs at the time. Was it difficult to obviously come up against them? And do you think you gave a good account of yourselves in those three games?
At times, I'd say yes, we did give a good account. I mean, Darvel, to be fair, I thought they were very good. On a personal note, I hadn't played against a team like that in a while, a good couple of years. I mean, a team who had quality, but they were experienced, they were streetwise, they went about their business really well. So it caught me off guard as well. And it probably caught us off guard in the first half. The second half of Darvel were a lot better. We were at them, we were causing problems. Lewis Lovren was excellent, he was driving. So, no, at times, especially in Hurlfield as well, in the first half, we scored a good goal and we're going about our business well, but then I think it was a couple of mistakes at Hurlfield that caused us goals. And again, in the second half, we maybe didn't take a lot of chances or create a lot of chances. But again, these teams are decent, so no massive complaints, but I definitely thought we could have maybe get something out of the games.
Ian, were they three games, do you go along with that? There were maybe three kind of games that you maybe could have got something out of?
Medal game, definitely. Again, another ludicrous decision, penalty kick for them, which killed us. That game, I definitely thought we deserved something out of that game. Darvel game, I go along with Lee. I thought they were excellent, and up to that point, they're the best team we come up against. They were well worth for 2-0 lead at half time. We scored with a penalty first minute of the second half, and we were a lot better in the second half. And then they scored, I think, for a corner last minute. And Hurlford, we were a goal down in the first 20 seconds or something. Defensive mix-up, which doesn't help. And then we equalised, it was one each at half time. And again, there was not a lot in the game. And then they scored a couple of goals pretty late on. I think another one was in the sort of last minute. I'm not too sure. The medal game, I think we should definitely have won. The Hurlford and Darvel. Darvel definitely deserved a victory, and I think Hurlford over the piece probably did as well. But we were in both those games right up to the last minute, you know. And there's always a chance when you're only a goal behind, you could nick something. But it just wasn't to be. But no majorly despondent, because again, Darvel, they'd be a club that's expecting to win the league. Yeah. And Hurlford have been a club up at the top end for a number of years now as well. So. No majorly despondent.
Obviously after that, it was two massive points at home against the Buffs and then the 3-3 draw with Pollock. Lee, they're two big points as well against two teams at the top of the league. The 3-3 draw in particular with Pollock, was it difficult, obviously, scoring 3 goals and no winning the game?
It was. I wasn't playing, to be fair. I was injured, but watching it, again, Pollock were decent at times, especially in the first half, but the character the boys showed to come back, and I mean, I think it was especially in the last 10 minutes watching it, they were just intense and they were hounding them and they're just going about their business really well going forward. And you seen that in Pollock, I thought. You seen it that they knew we could be in right trouble here and they backed off and they didn't want anything to do with it, in my opinion. So we capitalised on that great, I thought, especially in the Pollock game.
Ian, were they two good points, particularly at home against two top teams?
Yeah, again, I think the co-winning game, we deserved more. We were very disappointed with nothing each at the end of the game. The Pollock game, again, I thought Pollock were decent. They were 3 up. They deserved to be in the lead, but I don't think they deserved to be 3 up. They made a few substitutions, possibly thinking the game was done, and I think it disrupted our rhythm. And when we scored in the 81st minute, you know, myself, Paul, Marty, Deco, we were all confident we would get something for the game, although we were still 2 goals down. And when we scored the second goal, I think it was 87th minute, they panicked. I mean, they were slashing things everywhere, they were miscuing clearances, and I think they'd gone. And if the game, I think it went another 5 minutes, I think we'd have won it. You know, but the boys showed incredible character. They come down for 3-0 down, you know, 9 minutes left against a team who were sitting top of the league then. They could easily have chucked it and felt sorry for themselves. We made a couple of signings just before that game. Boy Declan McDonald at centre forward and Ali Taylor in the middle of the park, and both of them scored that day. So could be a sign of genius on Paul's part, you know, doing your signing, scoring in their debuts.
Definitely, but we'll touch on 2 big wins as well. Obviously, after that, 5-1 win over WOSFL, and then a massive, huge 2-0 win away to Cowan. Lee, they must have been 2 massive wins for the team.
They were. I mean, WOSFL again went about our business really well. Started really well in the first half. Got chances, buried them. I think I scored in the first minute, which set the tone really well. And then we just hounded them, moved the ball well, just causing them real problems, and it set the tone. They sort of backed off. They weren't enough face, and it let us go and play and be direct at times. And no, great result overall. I thought with Kilwinning, I thought the shape was excellent from a team's point of view. I think we're a wee bit low on bodies that day, and we know what Kilwinning are like. They move the ball quite well. They look for sort of diagonal passes. So the way we worked the shape, especially down there, was excellent. Again, we got a couple of chances and took them, which I felt was a difference. And then overall, we defended, I thought, exceptional throughout the game. But
Yeah,
no, great.
aye. They're two massive wins, and they could be vital towards the end of the season, Ian, couldn't they?
Oh, definitely. I would agree with what Lee said. The Rossvale game, we started like a house on fire. I think Lee scored after 24 seconds or something, and that just set the tone. And to be fair to Rossvale, they tried to play, they tried to get the ball down and play, but it wasn't happening for them, and we were just pressing them, and we were basically all over them. I think we went 3-1 up at half time, and then second half, to be honest, it could have been any number. That was one of our better performances. And the winning game, Lee's right, I think we were 5 bodies down. Our bench was 5 under-20 boys from our under-20 team. So really short of bodies, but again, that was another game where we never had a failure, and there's no many times that you can off the part saying that. I don't think our keeper had a save to make in 90 minutes. Kilwinning had a lot of the ball in the second half, but the shape of the team was excellent, defending for the front, and the guys restricted them to long range efforts. And I can't recall Danny making a save in the 90 minutes. And in the first half, their keeper had 2 or 3 excellent saves as well. We could have been running to break 4 or 5 up. So they were great performances.
Aye, definitely. Obviously, as well, after that, the league run up until then was brilliant, but the last, obviously, 2 weeks, 2-1 loss at home to Cumnock, and then the league leaders Talbot on Saturday, a 5-0 defeat. Have they been disappointing games recently, Lee, the 2 games?
I'd say the Cumnock one, yes. I mean, in the first half, we weren't really on it. I mean, we weren't pressing, we weren't doing the things we usually do in the right manner. To be fair, the 2 boys up front for them were decent. The second goal in the first half, the boy put us in the top corner for about 25 yards. It's excellent. And they were causing problems. But again, I think we could have been so much better in the first half. And it'd have set the tone better for us in the second, because we scored a right good goal in the second half. And then I think we had maybe 2 or 3 real chances in the second half where you go, we really need to be scoring them. And that'd have just, we would have won 100% if we take the chances. But if we started better with Cumnock, then definitely would have took points. And with Talbot at the weekend there, Talbot, I thought they were excellent. No, very, very good. The way they go about their business, I thought was very good. But on our behalf, the goals we conceded weren't great. We were just slack. It was sort of quick free kicks, quick corners, and then paired with their quality, they just punished us. There was no foot off the gas. It was just bang, goal, bang, goal. So preventable, but I thought Talbot were excellent.
Ian, obviously the Cumnock defeat was close at 2-1, but Saturday was for Talbot just far better on the day.
Yeah, I mean, much as it pains me to say it, Talbot are by far the best team we've played this season, by a mile. I thought they were excellent from start to finish. I mean, you know what you get with Talbot. I've played against them that many times over the year. You know how they play. They've got a style of play, and it's really effective. Every one of their players knows their role inside it, and they can bring players in, and they're almost like identikits of the player they've replaced. But I thought they were fantastic. The goals, as Lee said, it's a lesson for our young guys. We started with 2 17-year-olds in the midfield, a 19-year-old at the centre back, and brought on an 18-year-old. So a lot of young players on the team, and it's a lesson for them. Quick free kicks, first goal, quick free kick, great finish. I think it was with boy Wilson. I think he scored the one with the corner kick as well, but it was a short corner, and they laid it back to the edge of the box, and we've just not been switched on. Against most teams in the league, you'll get away with that, but not against him. He's cracked it right in the top corner. Fantastic finish. But I think for 5-0 looks like an absolute hammer, but we were quite happy with large parts of the game because we competed well with them. For large spells of the game, I thought we'd done well, without, to be fair, creating many real clear-cut chances. But we competed well with them, especially with a lot of the youngsters in the team. But they are, as I said, they're by far the best team we've played this season. The Cumnock game was a major disappointment because we were absolutely flying into that, and for some reason we weren't on it in the first half. we should have been brimming with confidence, and we didn't seem to be. They get a wee lift, obviously, with Gints and H coming in. And we scored right at the beginning of the second half. And then basically it was all us. They took their two forwards off, went 4-5-1, and we had a number of chances and just couldn't score. I think if we did get a second, we'd have went on to win the game. So that was a big disappointment. The Talbot one, yeah, we're expecting to go down there and get a result as we do in every game, but that result on Saturday won't define our season against Talbot. You know, Darvo and Paul maybe going down there that are in with a shout at the league, they'll possibly define their seasons. It won't define ours, you know, losing to Talbot, because they will win. All the teams that are in about us, I would expect them to beat them as well.
The cup runs as well, we'll touch on them quickly before we talk about your careers. In the South, it was a disappointing 5-1 defeat in the second round, but the Junior Cup, the run was pretty good. A 10-9 win in penalties over Troon, a very good 7-1 win over Blairgowrie in the second round, and then out in the third round to Peters Hill. Lee, how good was the Junior Cup run, first of all?
It was good. I mean, the Troon game was excellent. It'd have been great to watch as a fan. I mean, it was end to end, especially in the second half, and then it goes to penalties, and the goalies are taking penalties. It was great to watch. It was good to be part of as well. It was a good experience. The Blairgowrie one was good as well. I mean, we went up there. We could have easily sort of been blasé about it, but no, we went about our business really well, done what we needed to do. And then the Peters Hill game, watching for the side, I thought they were decent, to be fair. I thought they moved the ball pretty well, but again, we weren't on it. And when we were not on it in the first half, we can struggle at times. We can struggle, but to be fair to Peters Hill, I thought they moved it quite well. And again, when they get chances, they scored good goals. So,
Ian, obviously you've got a bit of history of the Junior Cup yourself. How important was it for the club to stay in the Junior Cup?
It's always great to get a good run in the Cup. I don't think the Junior Cup is the Junior Cup as it was.
Yeah.
You know, when I played, it was the be-all and end-all. Nobody was obviously interested in winning leagues and the local cups and all that, but the Junior Cup was the be-all and end-all. I think since the introduction of the Super Leagues, and now was obviously getting into the west of Scotland, and a lot of clubs not participating in it now. You know, Uncle Winning and Darvo and Clydebank, a lot of other clubs. I don't think they renewed their Scottish Junior FA membership. So I think it's been devalued a fair bit, to be honest. But it's still great to get a run in it, and it would have been great. I think the way that it is just now, you know, if you get a favourable draw, because a lot of the big teams are not in it, you've got a good chance of going all the way. I never seen the Peters Hill games. I had COVID, so I missed that game. But from what I can gather for the guys, we were well beaten in the rain. We had no complaints. So the Blairgowrie game was good game, because we had a lot of young boys on the bench, and we managed to get a couple on the park. Jamie McDermott was only 16, and he scored on his debut, which was great for him, great for us. And I think Jarvis got a hat-trick that day, and Lewis McTaggart, if I can remember. But that was a good professional performance, because I know myself, these games are potential banana skins if you don't approach them correctly. I think it was a good professional performance from us. But it's always disappointing to go out. But I think, you know, the opportunity is there to get to the later stages now, you know, for us, but not to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but we'll touch a bit on your careers. We'll start with you, Ian. Obviously, you had a really good playing career. Obviously, your highlight would be winning the Junior Cup with the Glens.
Yeah, I had 10 great years down there. We got I think it was 6 quarter-finals, 5 semis and 3 finals in a row. Fortunately, I won one of them. The only disappointing is no winning the third one against Largs at Ibrox, because 99 times out of 100 we'd have beaten Largs. We were 1-7 or 2-7 favourites or something. It just wasn't to be. They were a second division team at the side, and the time when I think their name was on the cup that year. But winning it was absolutely fantastic. Great day, and then a great 3 or 4 days after it celebrating. It was good for me, because I'd been down there for a number of years and got to know a lot of the people in the village. Are quite friendly with them, and it was great for the village. Great for all the guys that supported the Glens all their life and had never seen them win it. Great for the local community, because during any Ayrshire, a lot of these communities have been devastated. Obviously, a lot of ex-mining communities, and the junior clubs are kind of focus of the community. So it was absolutely brilliant seeing, you know, the joy that it brought to a lot of people. Great for me as well, because when you start playing, when I started playing with junior football in Neilston, you don't think you're going to get anywhere near a Juniors Cup final, and then you get to a semi and get beaten, and you get to a final and get beaten, and you're thinking. But we at that point we were pretty confident of going all the way every year. You know, roughly assembled a really good side. But it was fantastic. You opened top bus and all that, and then all the sort of different. I suppose it wasn't just that night. It was right through the summer. There was all sorts of different events. You seemed to get something every other week. That's when I was still driving. So I think I said, "Mister, that summer pissed it one up." To be perfectly honest.
Brilliant. What was your kind of highlights? Who was this kind of some of the best players you were playing with at that time as well? There must have been some good characters in the dressing room at that point.
Difficult. The whole team was difficult to pick anybody. But Big Alec Kennedy, the centre half, should never have been playing at that level. He came straight for the Premier League for Partick Thistle.
Yeah,
he was a cut above. It'd be Tom Brown that ended up going straight to Kilmarnock, and then winning the Scottish Senior Cup with Kilmarnock and getting caps for Scotland B. Noggin Montgomery up front, he got 60 odd goals, actually 63 goals. With Johnny Miller, who's went on to become a very successful manager with B, scored the winning goal. Wee Perley in front of me, the whole team. Big Davy McFarlane, who sadly is no longer with us, in the centre of the park, ex-Rangers player. So you could go through the whole team. It was a fantastic team. The big Archie Halley on the bench, who was a bit of a kind of cult hero with the fans. But, it was a great side, and the good thing about it was as well, we were all you don't often get it, but we were all quite pally with each other as well. Yeah. Which you don't normally get that in a dressing room where everybody sort of kind of gets on with each other. Certainly in my time, where most dressing rooms were full of characters in inverted commas.
Brilliant. Lee, you had a really good start to your career as well, obviously coming through at Partick Thistle, then going to Brecon. What was your kind of early days of your career like?
It's good. I mean, I went full time at 16 till I was 18, but I was involved a lot with under 20s at the time when I was 15, still at school. So I'd maybe leave a Tuesday and go and play reserves, and then to catch up in school. So it was good to be involved, especially for any age. But when I went full time, I loved it. I loved it. Just that environment of coming in and football being your job and getting to train every day and play games during the day. And I absolutely loved it. The 2 years I was there was probably a bit polar opposite of one another. The first year was, brilliant. I was playing with guys like Kevin Nisbet and Neil McLaughlin. Real good players, and we had a right good team. We done well. But then in the second year, we kind of fell away. A lot of apprentices left. So, and then the apprentice manager left about Christmas time or just before it. So a lot changed. So we were maybe training with sort of 3, 4, 5 guys a day. Yeah. It was a bit different, and the format changed a lot, so it was hard to adapt to it, but overall the experience was brilliant. I absolutely loved it, and I wouldn't change any of it. It was brilliant. When I left, I managed to go to Brecon. I went and try out with Barry Smith, who signed me. Yeah. Barry Smith and Stevie Campbell. It was good. I went in at 18-year-old. I was playing some good fixtures. I think I played against a couple of Premiership teams, like the 2 Dundee sides, Ross County, St Johnstone, Falkirk and friendlies and stuff, and in the Betfred Cup, which was also a good experience. And I was involved as well, I was playing decent fixtures and getting good game time. And then I done my groin about, I think maybe early October, just as Mark Wilson was coming in. And then the period that sort of came back and Mark Wilson was in charge, I struggled to sort of get in the team and get back to sort of a regular playing as much as I would. I still made a good amount of appearances, again playing against good teams and playing with good players at that level, but probably looked to play maybe a little bit more that year. And then COVID kicked in during sort of the March time, and then that was the season done for there.
Aye. Ian, was it always a plan to get into coaching, and how did you end up going to Benburb with Frank?
No, I never had any intention to get into coaching whatsoever. I think probably didn't go after me and me, Johnny Miller were the two that were least likely to get into coaching. Probably the two that have been involved at coaching and managing the longest now. No, I had no intention. I've known Frank since the mid-80s. I've been friendly with Frank for a long, long time. He came as a trialist when I was at Neilston. Right. In Erskine Charity Cup game on a Friday night at Vale Clyde. And he came with the long hair and the big Frank Zapata moustache. And he made a bit of an impression. And I've been friends with him ever since. He came down to Glenafton for a brief spell as well and played with us at Glenafton. And then he was at Cumnock, and me and Danny Bowen used to meet up with him and Andy Smythe, a few of the Cumnock guys, after a game in McDonald's Hotel and get a few pints and that. So I've known him, as I said, for a long, long time. And when I had a bad car accident, so 98, and when I come back after it, Frank was at Largs, and I just went down to train to get myself fit and ended up signing. Just as a player, never really played a great deal, but I was 38, but then I was just quite happy to be back involved. Yeah. And it was my other mate, Rashid Sarwar, who done it. It was Frank and George Wall and Rashid Rashid done most of the coaching. And then he decided to take a step back, and I more or less just kind of stumbled into it, to be honest, with Frank as player coach. I was player and then I became player coach, and that's how I kind of stumbled into it. And then I've been pals with Tony McInally since we worked together and played together again since the 80s. And he'd started getting into coaching, and he said, if you got a team, whether be his assistant, so you get the Cumbernauld job. I went Cumbernauld with him, and then the Lanark job, went to Lanark with him, and then you get the Shorts job. There was the option for me to go to Shorts, but that's another story. And that actually worked out better for me, because I ended up getting the WOSFL manager's job. Mm-hmm. So I brought WOSFLs into the juniors, basically starting a team from scratch with nothing, which was quite inexperienced. And the 2 and a bit seasons there, done pretty well. The first season and the second season, and then I think the third season, me and my 2 assistants, Aaron Arman and Davis, we were going to step aside at the end of the season anyway. I think we'd start taking it as far as it could go. We needed somebody else to come in, but we never got that far, and we get kind of bagged halfway through the season. And then obviously, because I'm pally with Frank, he'd asked us, because I'd have been into the Benz a lot sooner, because he thought when Tony took the Shorts job, because it was in the paper that all his management team was going to Shorts with him, so he thought I was going there as well, and never asked me. And I think he brought in Lee Barrett that time. So that was 9 seasons ago. It was him and Lee Barrett and Anton Smith, and myself joined nationally as a coach, and then Lee left, and ended up just me, Frank and Anton. Mm-hmm. But I've known Frank, as I said, it's actually about 35 or 36 years now, when you think about it.
Aye, and obviously now his son Paul's now the manager there. What's the kind of similarities between Frank and Paul?
Well, I need to watch what I'm saying here. Kind of totally different. Obviously, both of them are winners. Frank was one of the hardest guys I'd ever played with or played against, as in hard, no dirty, hard but fair. Yeah. You literally run through a brick wall for you. And the same with Paul, and the same with Lewis. It must be a kind of lovering trait, and they're all particularly good in the air. Probably Frank. Frank was probably a bit more sort of old school, I would imagine. Paul's obviously come in for a long, long time in the professional game and introduced a level of professionalism into the club. The way the players are treated, all their training gear laid out, picked up, washed. Food after training, ice baths at pre-season. Basically they don't want for anything. I suppose having a new ground helps that as well, because obviously we were in the old ground, and we sold that, and for a year we were nomads as well. Both similarities, as in both of them are winners. Frank pretty much old school in his approach. I'll just kind of leave it at that. Put this, where you are with both of them, but certainly with Frank, there's no airs or graces about him. He's truthful to a fault, and he was very honest with the players. Paul's the same. Obviously, you look at both of them in the touchline. Paul's quite animated in the touchline. I think everybody knows that. I'm not saying anything that people can't see with their own eyes, but that's just because he's a winner. That's his style. He gets involved in the first whistle to the last whistle. He's kicking every ball, but he's actually quite calm. Away from the 90 minutes. Has his moments in the dressing room, but he's pretty calm. He's dealing with the players as well. Probably surprised a lot of people. He's not really a mad sort of ranter or raver. He tells the players what he wants them to do, and he gets his point across well. Yeah, there'll be times where he loses it, we all do, but he's actually pretty calm. And as I said, it's been an experience with both of them, to be honest. But Frank's, I've got a lifetime of stories to tell of the things that's between Frank and Paul, especially Frank. You know what I mean? But I don't think I could probably tell most of them on this podcast.
We'll maybe get one towards the end. We've got a wee question there later on. But Lee, obviously you've been into Benburb recently. How much you enjoyed your time there so far?
Oh, I've loved it so far. I mean, it was Ian's colleague Derek Rodden who encouraged me to come in. I mean, I worked with Derek in at Rangers, so it was, I don't know, maybe during the summer, and he's like, "What are you doing with yourself?" And I mean, I would just keep myself ticking over, just cause I think the West of Scotland got postponed in the December previous to that. So I mean, I would just keep myself ticking over for months. And he mentioned to me that he was in at Benburb and would I be interested in coming to train? I said, aye, definitely. So I came in and trained, I played, and then Paul took me aside and mentioned that he would like me to sign. So I mean, I didn't have any other options on the table. I mean, I enjoyed it there. I liked the atmosphere, I liked the boys, I liked the way every day went about their business. So it was a no-brainer to just sign right there and then. And ever since, I've enjoyed it. And again, with the gaffer, like Ian says, he is very animated in the side, but I think when he's not there, we miss him. We definitely miss him. I think his energy and it drives us forward. And again, like Ian says, he's quite calm off the pitch. Speaks to you very well. His knowledge of the game is very good. I've learned quite a decent amount off him, especially how to manage the game, how to go about your business, identify, right, the game's going this way, I should be playing this way to merit the game. So, no, overall enjoyed it so far.
Brilliant. We're now at the stage where, if you've seen the show before, we put you both in the spot in different ways. We usually ask the member of the coaching staff some quick fire manager questions. Ian, are you ready to be put in the spot?
Right, fire away.
Brilliant. First of all, Van Bronckhorst or Postecoglou?
Van Bronckhorst.
Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
Favourite film?
Favourite film? Shawshank Redemption.
Good choice. Best manager played under?
Best manager played under? Got to say Frank Lovren.
Best character you've met in football?
Best character? Oh, Christ, there's literally hundreds to choose from. I don't know, that's a really difficult one. I don't know. Trying to think of all the teams that I've played with. Who's been the maddest at them all? I don't know. Norman Montgomery at Glenafton was a bit of a character.
Very good. Best player played with?
Best player I played with? Henry Templeton.
Who's the worst?
Worst player played with? Don't know, that's a difficult one. I'll say Robert Wraith at large, that'll please Frank.
Win the league or win the Scottish?
Scottish.
You can pick 3 players from other teams in the Premier Division to join Benburb. Who would they be?
Leishman for the Talbot. McCracken for the Talbot centre half. Mm-hmm. And Wilson for the Talbot.
Talbot, 3 Talbot players. Best player played against?
Best player played against? Willie Johnston. Showing my age.
That's probably the best answer for Jet.
Could have been the best player I played with, might have been Gary Mabbitt.
Oh, right, was
that Henry Templeton still?
Gary Mabbitt Everton?
Spurs.
Right,
Bristol Rovers. Put them down at Bristol Rovers.
Very good. Most embarrassing moment?
Getting sent off at Ibrox in a Junior Cup final.
The worst memory you've ever had?
It's a long walk across for the Govan stand.
Brilliant. We'll get some, obviously, a couple of wee stories later on. We've got a few questions to ask you. Lee, it's your turn. Are you ready? It's for some teammates' questions.
Ready.
Brilliant. Ian, you can chime in as well here. If you disagree with any of the answers, then please feel free to chime in. Best trainer?
Oh, me.
Well, possibly he's up there.
Who's the worst trainer?
Oh, there's a few.
As in worst or thickest?
Aye.
Thickest has got to be Jarvis.
I'd agree.
We've got a few Jarvis stories to ask you about later on, so he's He's going to be interesting in the next 5 minutes. Who's the team hard man?
Oh, I'd say Docko. I'd say Doc. He likes a good tackle. I'd say Ryan Dockey, 100%.
Ryan
I'd agree
Dockey.
with that.
Most skillful?
Regan, Gospel, they're pretty skillful, I'd say. 100%. Tricky.
I'd go with Regan.
Quickest?
There's a few. Again, Regan, Gospel are quite quick. I'd say I'm pretty quick as well. Lewis McTaggart's quite quick as Jordan Bowe can be quick as well when he gets going. There's a few.
Who's the slowest?
This list. Scott Jarvis up
Like
there.
Livy's got to be up there.
Aye, maybe.
Best character in the dressing room?
Character. No, there's a few to be fair. You know, I really like Jarvis. I think Jarvis is brilliant for the changing room. Massive. Again, Lewis Loveland's good. Flash, Keeza, Livy, the boys that have been there a while. Docko again, he's good presence with Docko. Aye, them.
Who's the worst dress sense?
I've not really seen a lot of the boys in the gear because we always go out in the tackies if we ever go on a night out. So I've not had a good look yet. No, I don't know yet. We'll find out. We'll get a team night out on Saturday night. I'll let you know.
Very good. You can send us in the answer next week. Final question: who's the teacher's pet?
Pet. I'll go with experienced boys just because Paul likes them. We'll go Livy, Flash, Keeza. They all like Paul. Paul likes them.
I would agree with that as well.
Very good. We usually get some dirt on the people in the podcast with some sources. We've never really had in the show where we've had so many stories to ask about the same person. Just basically been asked many things to ashes about Scott Jarvis. Who wants to start? Lee, give us a couple of Scott Jarvis stories.
Scott Jarvis, very, very funny. Very funny. Whether he means to be or he doesn't, I find him hilarious at times. I want to think. The team night out after Blair Gowrie in the cup, we were in a bar and there wasn't many left. I think there was maybe half a dozen tops. And I was sitting beside Jordan Bowe at the bar and I've looked across and I just see I see Jarvis just sitting there, he's cell, nobody around him, and he's full tracky with his phone up to his ear like this, just sitting there listening to music. He's settled, blaring out these songs, swearing, shouting, bawling, the wee barmaid's giving him a shove. Scott, enough. He's shoving this barmaid at the road, screaming and bawling all these songs, swearing. But that was a good laugh. I like that one. That was funny, especially when you're drunk. That was good to see.
Very good. Ian, what's your favourite Scott Jarvis story?
I've got a few. I've known him for a long time because I took him to WOSFL and he was only a boy. I think he was at Stirling Albion and he got released and he went to Canvas Lang and I was pal with the big Wardy. I think they were in the Premier at the time and he wasn't quite ready. And he's always been a bit daft. When we got to Benburb a few years ago, he turned up at the airport and I looked in and I'm not kidding, he had the Baltic haircut for Blackadder. As if, honestly, he get absolutely slaughtered him all the way there, across the plane. You know, Paul and the guys up there will tell you they were in absolute stitches. It was as if he'd went to the dentist to get his haircut. You know, somebody just stuck a bowl in his head. You're thinking, you can away to Benetton with the boys. Why would you get your haircut like that? You know what I mean? And you know when you turn up, you're going to get absolutely slaughtered for the weekend. He's some awful. He's just daft. I mean, over in Benetton, having Livy ended up in a hotel at a Take That tribute night with all these mothers and kids. And I think both of them try to get onto the stage to sing. You know, he's just daft. He's just one of the guys, as Lee will tell you. I don't know if he's an unconscious comedian, you know, if he's meaning to be funny. It's just some of the things he says and just some of the things he does. He's really good. He's really good for the dressing room because you need somebody like that in your dressing room to keep everybody going. You know, especially if you're going through a wee bad spell or something, you need somebody that you can kind of focus on and get a bit of a laugh, and especially if there's a bit of tension in the dressing room, you can, you know, you can help cut it. You know. And he said, on that thing, we played Canvas Lang a few years ago, and we got an absolute doing. I think it was 9-1, and we came in, and he said we got beat because of the shags, and I absolutely lost it with him. He said, "You got beat because of the shies." Or they kept shying to the guy to get the ball at his feet and turn around and score. And I said, well, would you not think of just standing in front of him then? You know what I mean? You're watching the same thing time and time again. I think we actually practiced shies for about 3 weeks after that. Or try to defend shies. But no, he's a good boy to have about. He's been, I think this is his third spell was, to be honest. He's left a couple of times and thought the grass was maybe greener on the other side, and then realised it's no, and come back. But he's good to have a bit.
Brilliant. We've got a wee serious question here as well. What is the next steps for the infrastructure at the club? Are the club looking to get an SFA membership in the near future?
We are. We're actually in the process of filling out the application just now.
Okay.
I know there's 170 odd bits of criteria. I know it's a massive amount of conditions you've got to satisfy. But I think we satisfy most, if not all of them, with the grounds, the changing rooms, the academy, and obviously floodlights. I think everything's more or less in place. It's just a question of putting the application in, and then obviously getting the assessor out and hopefully get the licence in time to play in the Scottish next season, because that's another attraction. You know, when we want to get players, you know, that's another inducement for us, because with the best will in the world, we can compete with some of the clubs if the rumours are to be believed, to some of the money that clubs are paying. And again, that's none of our business. Clubs are entitled to pay their players whatever they like. You know, it's absolutely none of our concern. But if the rumours are true, we can't match the wages on offer. So we have to have other incentives to get guys to the club. So I think, you know, the park, the facilities, the professionalism at the club that Paul's introduced. We've also got, apart from myself and Paul, we've got Matty Campbell, who came in last season, and we've got Deco, Derek Rodden, who's come in this season, and obviously Docko as well, Ryan Docherty's player coach. So Ryan, Deco and Marty do the vast majority of the training, and myself and Paul will dip in and out every now and again. But the sessions that they put on are absolutely first class, as Lee will tell you. They're fantastic, really detailed sessions, and never boring, never doing the same thing twice. And all that's an attraction to get players in. And then obviously with the contacts we've got, especially the senior contacts that Paul's got, if we're getting young guys in like Lee and that, and they want to maybe go back up the levels, they know if they're performing well with us, especially games against the Talbot and the bigger clubs, there's going to be a lot of focus there, then we'll do everything we can. We've done it with a few boys to get them back up there, and that helps us attract players as well. And we've got a lot of the 20s came in as well and played this season. We've got 2 of them as part of our squad now. They guys are in the 20s, and we've had 5 or 6 of them, the other boys on the bench and coming on. So that's the kind of next step. Try to obviously grow our own talent, so to speak, so there's a pathway through there, which there already is. Getting our licence to get us in the senior Scottish, consolidating in the league and being a West of Scotland Premier League member, because we've come up through the leagues. It's took us, since Paul came in, with 3 promotions in 4 years. It's took us a lot of hard work to get there. So we want to consolidate and then see where that takes us. Personally, I would like to see us try and increase our fan base, because we've got a small but loyal band of supporters that follow us everywhere. I would like to see us try and increase that, but it's really difficult being a city club, because obviously we've got Rangers just along the road, you know, and you've got the competition of the other teams in the city as well. And whereas I know for Glenafton, where the team, you know, is the focus of the community in the village, and everybody invests in it, you know, the same way Talbot coming up Beath or whatever, it's a lot easier for them to increase their fan base, you know, and their fan base will go up, you know, if they're doing well, you know, increase substantially as well, whereas our fan base is pretty static regardless, you know. So that's one thing I'd like to see is increase over the years as well. Yeah,
definitely. Lee, how excited are you for the kind of future of the club? Obviously, the plans in motion to get the SFA membership. How excited is the future for Benburb from your perspective?
The fact that the club are going for it is massive. I mean, it will allow potentially some massive fixtures for the club. and that'd be great. Like he says, to bring fans in, and then making good money, maybe off tickets for other sort of senior clubs, and for the players as well, to get the opportunity to play against some of the best senior teams in the country would be massive for us. But no, definitely, I'd definitely look forward to it if it went through and we got the opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. But we can only wish you all the best for the season and for the future with the SFA membership. It's been an absolute pleasure to be both on the show. Thanks very much for doing it.
Thanks for your time.
No problem, Scott. Anytime, mate.
Thank you very much to everyone that's tuned in. Please subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channels and follow us on social media. Thanks very much, everyone. We'll see you soon. Cheers.